Sorry,
So
guys.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Business Blabbing with the Besties. I'm one half of the Besties, Famira, the Diamond Diva, your visual impactologist. And I'm joined by my wonderful co-host and business bestie, M.E. Porter.
Hello, you guys. I am M.E. Porter, the Soul Shifter, your SOULutions Sage, with just a little bit of marketing magic sprinkled on the top. And I am the other half of the Business Besties. Thank you guys so much for joining us today.
I'm so excited today. We have Danielle Lewis of Danielle D. Lewis Beauty with us. And so I follow her on Facebook and I think on Instagram too. But I was excited when me and the bestie decided to put this together. We kind of both came up with like our dream list of people that we wanted to have on the show, and you were on mine. So I'm excited that you're here joining us.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, which meant I had to go do all the research. I had to go do all the research. And so you may have been seeing me kind of like on your Facebook page, kind of liking some things. And I'm like, oh, this is cool. So yeah, so I must say, because I'm not a girly girl, I haven't been following, but I am now.
Welcome to the social media party, right?
Yes. So for those of you that may not be familiar with Danielle, I just want to tell you a little bit about her and let you know the caliber of people that we are bringing on the show. They do know their stuff, right? We're not just picking random people. We are picking people that are really experts to have this conversation on business and on all things entrepreneurial and girl magic and all this great things. So just to let you know a little bit more about her, armed with years of experience and a passion for pretty. I like that, passion for pretty. Danielle's focus is not just making clients look amazing, but making them feel amazing as well. Her work has been featured on Good Morning America, Fox, Essence.com, and Sister to Sister magazine, on runways during New York Fashion Week, and in films including 9 Minutes and 30 Seconds. She's had the pleasure of glamming celebrities, including Angie Stone, Stacy Keibler, and many others. Danielle's work can also be found on the new TLC show, Love at First Swipe. And so her accolades go on and on and on, but I don't know about y'all, but I'm ready to jump right in. And so I'm trying not to have a geek out fan moment.
You are so kind. Thank you. Thank you so much. You're very sweet.
So yes. I know. So Emmy's talking about how either one of us don't have on our necklaces. We normally always have on necklaces when we're on the show. And it's funny, when we came up with this concept, we definitely are business besties, but we often do things in synchronization without realizing it. So we'll come on like with the same hairstyle, or like today we both don't have on our necklaces. So it's really funny. So we have those moments. But I'm going to let us jump in. I feel like I've been talking a lot already, so I'm going to let Emmy start us off.
Well, there's nothing wrong. There's absolutely nothing wrong with having like a fan moment. I think it is phenomenal. We should be fans of each other, right? Because we're all phenomenal women in our own right. And so I think I'm sitting here and I'm just smiling because I think it's really cute that that Famira has such admiration for you that she's just like, oh my God. I think it's absolutely awesome, because we don't do that enough. You know what I mean? We don't do that enough. We don't just genuinely cheer each other on enough. So I think that's really cool. But we're going to go ahead and jump right in and just have you tell our viewing, listening audience exactly who you are in your own words.
Okay. Well, firstly, thank you, ladies, so much for having me. Thank you for the kind words. I appreciate it. And I think you're right. I think we should celebrate each other. And I appreciate you guys inviting me on and celebrating what I've been able to accomplish. And there's more. I have more. The plan is to do more. But who am I? I'm a makeup artist. So I like to consider myself a experienced beauty professional, because I of course, paint people, and that's sort of the main thing that you do as a makeup artist. But I also provide beauty content. I do live beauty segments for everyday women. I do, tips and tricks, because I understand that as a beauty professional, it's very easy for us to assume that people know what we know. And I think that there are women all over, my mother included, who never wore makeup. And so there are things that I feel like I do in my everyday profession that everyday women are like, wait, where do I put this? Or where do I put that? So for me, it goes beyond just doing makeup. It's also kind of spreading the beauty gospel and making sure that people know how to make themselves feel good. And how putting on some lipstick can really change the game or change your day. And, kind of small moves for a big impact. So that's me. I also, in addition to writing about beauty, I also write about inspired lifestyle, and I'm really big on that as a freelance professional. It's just really making sure that we get motivated and stay motivated, because it's work, but it's good work.
Right. Awesome. So the very first thing, of course, that you said that stuck out to me, for those that know me, and just even sharing a little bit more about me with you, is the fact that I talk a lot about self-love. And so I talk a lot about women showing up and standing out in exactly who God created them to be. And so the fact that when you were saying that, showing people just the simple techniques and how it changes how they feel about themselves. And a lot of times people think, oh, it's the makeup and you're being fake because you're covering up and blah, 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 blah. We know all that. But people don't really understand the power of what it is when you feel like you look how you feel inside, right? And how you can even brighten your day because you're like, I'm wearing this lip gloss today. It's looking fabulous. So can you just talk a little bit about that side of it? Because I think that, a lot of times makeup in the makeup industry gets a bad rap, and not really talking about how it can be uplifting to women and, and how they feel about themselves.
No, absolutely. I think that, the real root of makeup is mimicking what happens naturally and enhancing what we are working with, right? Like there's not a time when I sit a client down and I decide that I want to change what they look like. I don't want to change anyone. I just know that if I see someone and they have beautiful eyes, I'm going to slap some eyeliner on that eye so that it can shine. And I think that the important thing to remember when we're dealing with beauty and makeup and, lip gloss and lipstick is to have fun, but also to understand that we're enhancing what we're already working with, and that it's not necessary to change ourselves. And I think that, Instagram and filters and social media will have us believe that we have to, be perfect all the time. And that's not what it is. And I always like to say that, when you're around the holidays, Christmas, or, just whenever you're giving someone a gift, you wrap the gift, you put a bow on the gift. In my opinion, we put bows on ourselves with makeup. When I'm doing my makeup, I'm going to slap a bow on in the form of a lipstick or in the form of a lash. And I think that we have to think of it as an opportunity to adorn ourselves. It's a little outfit for the face. The lipstick, the lips want to be dressed. The eyes want to be dressed. And so just coming from a place of enhancing what we're working with is the name of the game for regular women, as well as for models and people who are working in the industry. Just you, but a little bit better.
Awesome.
Wow. I like that because I am not a makeup wearer. So when you think of it in the sense of an outfit for the face, that what I'm saying, that's like, I like that. I like that. A question that is not a normal question that we would ask, because we pretty much have some standard questions. But as I was listening to you talk, if anybody has been watching this season of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, there was an episode where Kim Fields had a beatless luncheon where she invited all of the ladies to come to her house and without the makeup on. And some of them were kind of like, oh, I don't know if I can do that. One of them actually took offense, to the idea. And what she was really saying was what you just said, is that I'm not saying that, oh my God, you guys wear too much makeup all the time. What I'm saying is makeup is supposed to enhance what you already have. So even without the makeup, you're still beautiful.
Absolutely.
And so in your business, how often do you run into people that really feel like they have to have the makeup, and where you actually have to kind of dial it back and say, okay, this is what I want to show you. I want to show you that you really just need to enhance, not totally like recreate who you are, but you just need to enhance what you already have. Like, is that something that you run into often as a professional?
Absolutely. And I think that both in business and in real life, right? Like, I don't wear makeup when I'm not working. This is for you. I am home. This is not how I looked an hour before I was set to talk to you guys. And the reason why I wear makeup when I do wear makeup when I am working is because I work in the industry, and it's just like going to the hair salon. The person whose chair you sit in, you want their hair to be done. Right. And so the same goes for me as a professional. When I have to show up and wear makeup, I do. Most often I don't, especially as a freelance professional when I spend a lot of my time at home or in coffee shops doing my thing. But I do find that people are uncomfortable and sometimes apologize for not wearing makeup. Myself, at times I'll have a good girlfriend. I'm like, girl, I'm coming, but I'm not wearing my face. And then I had to sort of really get into why I think it's so important for me to wear makeup, which leads to the whole idea of changing yourself. And so in my profession and professionally, when I have someone who sits in my chair, if it's a regular person or someone who's going to an event, and I actually have the flexibility to say, hey, I think we should do this, I do have that conversation. I do have to say, what we're seeing right now on social media or and even in real life, it's not so much. We're seeing a lot of transformative makeup. That's the trend, right? Like that, it just is what it is. But I do have to talk to my clients about what was going to work for them. And I'm not going to paint by numbers. And I don't want to give you a cookie cutter look that you saw, because that's not your face. Awesome. That's not, it might not even work on you. And so I think that those are the kind of conversations I have. Like, I'll never shame somebody for wanting to wear tons of makeup, because I like makeup. And when I wear makeup, I wear a lot of it. But, what I will say to them is, let's talk about what's going to work for you. And let's figure out how we can make this look, how we can interpret this look for you. So, around a long story short, a long story long, do I encounter that professionally? Absolutely. Do I have to encourage clients to let me work it for them so that it looks good on them? Absolutely. And have I encountered it in my personal relationships, or even sort of when somebody doesn't want to take a selfie or to be on social media with no makeup? Yes, I have. And to that, I always just say, we don't need it. It's fun, but I have no problem going out into the streets totally clear faced, and I do it all the time. And I've come away from explaining that, because I shouldn't have to explain me in my natural state.
Absolutely. I love it.
Awesome. So one of the things that we often definitely want to talk about is taking it from the passion level into the business realm, right? Because it is business blabbing with the besties. And so, a lot of times you'll see people that are really into makeup, just like with anything else, but they really struggle with how to translate that into now creating a business for themselves, let alone an entire empire on that knowledge or on that passion that they have. So what would be something that you would tell to somebody that's new, that maybe they're just kind of still doing it at home, them and their friends, but it is definitely something that they're passionate about and they want to turn it into a business, but really don't know where to start?
Absolutely. Do research, right? Like, figure out how you can make a sustainable business and think about how you can make money, because everything is not about money. And, money is a shiny penny, as I heard tons of podcasters say, and I agree with. And what I mean by that is, money's not why we work, right? Like, when we wake up in the morning, we want to love it. We don't love it. Even if we're getting rich, we're not going to be happy. So do we need to keep the lights on? Absolutely. And so you have to understand that, one-offs and private clients might not be what's going to give you a long-lasting career sort of for the long haul. So you have to, number one, understand what is going to be lucrative, understand what you like to do, and figure out how you can sort of marry the artistry and the business. Because I have to tell you, I'll do makeup for, I was talking to another artist about this, literally maybe 50, right? 50% of the time I'm trying to create business for myself or looking to create opportunities. And then 50% of the time I'm doing makeup. So there's a large part of my time that is reserved for sending out emails, prospecting for prospective clients, drumming up business, marketing myself, and then showing up to do the work. So you have to understand that it's not going to be all painting. You're not going to be doing makeup 100% of the time. You have to look at yourself as a business because you have to take yourself seriously. You have to be your publicist. You have to be your marketer. You have to develop advertising. You have to have a portfolio that gets noticed, that has decision makers wanting to hire you. The best thing I could have done for myself early on is I went to a class from Crystal Wright. She's amazing. If you are creative in any way, photographer, manicure, stylist, makeup artist like myself, hairstylist, she really gave me an amazing understanding of the business of beauty and what it really means to run a business where you happen to paint people as the vehicle to make money. And so just really understanding that it really is business, really cherishing the fact that while you work at a day job or in a corporation that you're learning from people who know how to make a business work. In another life, right after college, I was in marketing and advertising. Everything I did there, I do now in my personal business for myself. So really understanding you have to take tools from the business world and marry them with the beauty world, and just taking yourself seriously enough to ask for what you want, ask for what you're worth, and send your invoices and follow up.
Yes, send them invoices. Yes. People be like, they haven't paid me. Yes. Have you sent it out? Did they know? Oh, and build in late. Oh, I
was there. I walk out the door and send the invoice on my iPad. You got to take care of business.
Right. Definitely true. You have a question? Another question, M.E, or I can?
No. I was just gonna say it's amazing how certain things, when you start to talk business, certain things are across the board. And so one of the things that she said is you have to ask for what you're worth. And I don't care who we talk to, what industry they are in, that statement shows up. That statement continues to show up because we so do not realize our phenomenalness, our skill sets, our experience, our talents, our abilities. And so I love that even in the industry of beauty, that still shows up. Ask for what you're worth. Girl, if you are good, charge like you know you are good. I love it.
And you know what, to go to that point as well, I think that we all get way more comfortable asking for what we're worth when we are continuously doing the work to get better and to become better so that we don't have to convince ourselves. I think that for me, it really clicked when I realized that I'm investing in myself. I'm building this business. I am working hard. I'm doing, I'm making sacrifices and doing what I need to do. And so I feel more comfortable coming to the table with, hey, this is my rate. This is what it includes. This is what I bring to the table, because I know that it's not something I pulled out of thin air. Like, I'm working. I'm making sure that I'm pouring into myself so that when I ask for what I'm worth and I get what I'm worth, I bring worth. And I bring the value with me so that it's not a question.
HFB Consulting, who I just happen to know, her name is Tyrese, who is over here in the chat room. And she says that men rarely have issues with asking their worth. Do you agree with that statement? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. I definitely agree with that statement. It's definitely true. A majority of my clients are women, and when helping them brand themselves, that's the conversation we often have, is with pricing their services or their products or their packages and things like that. And more often than not, they'll tell me, I'll ask them, well, what do you plan on, charging for this? And then the answer I get back always makes me be like, what? Because of the fact that they do a lot of times struggle with that. We see you now. I don't know. You had went out, but now you seem. Let me open this up so she can get back in. I don't know what happened, but they do. A lot of times women do struggle with that aspect of it. And yes, we see you now. And I don't know. a lot of times, I guess it's, I think a lot of it does have to do with just kind of how we're divinely designed in regards to nurturing. We always want to help, and, you know, we want to see the best in other people. And so often it's not even from a place of, what I find is not often even from a place of not feeling unworthy so much. It can be that, don't get me wrong. But a lot of times it's not even from a place of feeling unworthy. It's from a place of wanting to help the person, you know, the client, or whatever work they're doing is about really trying to help and create the impact, that they get lost on the money aspect of it, because it's like, oh, well, I'm just helping. You know, that was definitely my story. When I first started, I was like, oh, I just want to help everyone. And, you know, you can't afford it. Okay, I'll give you a discount. And then it was like, wait a minute, you ain't getting no discount when people come, when you got to pay out money. So, you know, it is like, you know, you get to that point. So I think that is a very valid point. And it's just definitely too, you know, we can go into a whole conversation about that, because I feel like it's really, and maybe we need to do a show on it, because I think too, a lot of it has to do with how we're brought up, because we're brought up to be ladylike and, you know, kind of agreeable oftentimes, where men are taught, go for it, get it, go out there and slay that animal and bring it home to eat. You know, we're not taught that a lot of times, and it's a different attitude approach.
I agree. I think that women, I know for a fact that whenever I speak to my husband about business, it's never a second thought for him. He's that guy who's going to be like, listen, you know, this is what I plan to do, and, you know, we'll see if it works. And I think that as women, we're always like, we got to be extra ready. Like, we feel like we have to be 100% ready. And a man will go for a job that he is not qualified for. And I read this somewhere and it just spoke to me. Men will go for things that they're not qualified for, and women won't. And I think that part of it too is that we do understand that as women, we are up against kind of different layers of things. And I think that we think that if we're going to shoot for it, we need to get it and stay there. And I think that men think, I mean, I'll just go for it anyway. And I think that there's something really good, something really great about just taking a leap. And I think that women don't do that because we want to be sure. But nothing's guaranteed. We should all just go for it. And I think that's the difference. I think that we want to make sure that it's going to make sense, and think too much, and throw it out there. Throw it out there. You know, whatever happens, what happens. If it's yours, it's going to be yours, whether you wait 20 years or not. The only thing is that waiting 20 years means that you might miss the opportunity. There's nothing more expensive than a missed opportunity. I just saw that on Instagram. I was like, somebody put a word on my timeline. Right? It's nothing more expensive than that. I was just talking to some friends about it too.
It's so true. My mom always says, just throw it out there. When I was younger and I would have ideas or what I wanted to do, my mom, she would always just be like, just throw it out there on the floor. Some of them are going to get stepped on. Some of them are going to get picked up, but you won't never know if you don't throw it out there. And so that's always kind of been my thing between her and my father. My father's like, and if someone says no, it's definitely that man thing, because his whole thing is, ask for what you want. If someone says no, you didn't have it in the first place. So what did you really lose? Nothing, you know. But
and what's so scary about no? What's so scary about no? I was at high school. One of my first jobs was I was a telemarketer. I've heard no a lot. And the way that I feel like we should be living at this point is we are only one yes away from anything. We are only one yes away. It doesn't matter how many no's you get. We just need one yes. Look at me, I'm shaking my head. I mean it.
Yes. So my question is, I heard you say that you're sending the invoice as soon as you walk out of the door. And so my question is, from a business perspective, are you a solopreneur, or do you actually have a team of people who work alongside you, not necessarily as makeup artists, but just to do like the day-to-day functions of your business? Or do you just kind of use your hands to do the makeup, use your hands to send the invoices, use your hands to do the marketing? So, because like your hands are the gift here. And so are you using them to do everything?
They do it all. I am a solopreneur, 100%. I am, I do everything in terms of my marketing and my social media and my writing, and as well as my invoices. But I'm working on a post about this right now. I have tons of apps that make it easier for me. And one of the apps that I do use when I'm doing my invoices is called Kuda-san or Kuda-san. I don't know how you pronounce it, but literally it is an electronic way for me to, in that space, in that time when it is most important, to send my details forward. If I don't send it forward when I am there on set, or if I'm, if I wait until I get home, it's a matter of, an electronic signature. The document is there. I can send it. I can resend it if they happen to misplace it. And I feel like those sort of things, we have to teach everybody how to treat us and how to interact with us. And that's not me being pushy. That's me making sure that I do what I need to do. Because I do all of the stuff on my own, things can fall through the cracks. And it's way more difficult to reach out to somebody to follow up on an invoice if they tell you never sent it and you are 100% sure that you did, but you didn't. And so I just feel like sending my invoices the day of service or the day after, if I wrap and it's a really long day, to me, especially if this is our first interaction, if this is the first time I'm working with this client, they already know that they're going to get what they need from me in a timely fashion. And that's how I choose to do business. And those apps help me, especially because it is just me. Because in addition to doing makeup, I do also write for another website that I've recently developed that is kind of going back and forth with the freelance and entrepreneur life. And I want everything I do to be of quality. And that requires me to do the work when I need to do the work so it doesn't slip through my fingers.
Right. I think that that's so important because I think a lot of times, people have an idea of what they want to do in business, have a passion, even have expertise in it, but they just jump into it with no plan, no systems in place, no nothing. And it's just like, oh, I just want to do this business. And I mean, I have to admit, I was, originally one of those people, like, I'm just going to do this. It's like you look up and you're like, oh my God, like I'm working 22 hours a day because I have nothing in place to help me, to get things going. So yeah, there's definitely, even for me, tons of apps that I use in order to help make that transition easier. So I think that that's good to discuss too, especially because I think that a lot of times, especially when you're talking about the beauty industry, a lot of people do miss out on the fact that there is business, business in beauty. Especially, I think a lot of times it's in any type of creative space, whether it's photography or hair or beauty, because a lot of times we're so creative that we definitely can get caught up on that side of it. And we don't think about oftentimes the business aspect of it and that business appearance that you're putting out and what you're doing from that standpoint. So I think it's great that you asked that. One of the things I want to talk about is fear, right? Because a lot of times we all deal with fear on some level, and and how we react to it really does make a difference in how we propel forward. So I don't really want to talk about the fear of getting over to just get started, but I want to talk about maybe any type of fear that you may have encountered with going to the next level because of the fact that, you have been on places like Essence.com and Sister to Sister. That's definitely a different level than just I'm doing makeup for somebody going to the prom, so that's a different level of expectation and things like that. So can you talk about whatever, if there was any type of fear that you had to deal with and going to that next level, and really how did you deal with that?
Yep. Every single time I've done something that is new to me, it has scared the crap out of me. I remember the first time I did a celebrity, I was living in Baltimore at the time because I'm from Baltimore, and I had to travel to DC to do them. And that car ride on the way to do them, it was like a 4 a.m. call time, and I was so petrified. And I think that we don't talk about that, but that's real. You have the higher stakes. The first step onto the new level is scary as ever. And you are not human if you're not afraid or if you can't accept that you're afraid. So I have totally been afraid every step of the way. And I think that recently I've accepted the fact that the gift of makeup, the gift to be able to do what I need to do, the ability to be able to do makeup is a blessing for me. It is something that I am blessed to be able to do. And when I am done with the client. When I do the work, I have to release it. And that has released me from the fear of what they're going to think about the finished product, because that's what it is. When you step to a new level, you're scared that they don't think you belong there, right? You're scared that you don't belong there. You're scared that you're not bringing next level work with you. And I think that for me in this moment, with what I've been able to blessed to be exposed to here in New York, I have finally gotten to a point where, do I feel fear? Absolutely. But the fear of making sure that I do my best and leave it all on the field, that's where I'm at. Not so much I hope it is received, because that's what I can't control. I can't control that. And sometimes the fear of the reception of whatever you put out into the world is paralyzing. And for a long time, that's where I was. I need them to feel like I'm worth this. I need them to see the value in the work that I do. And I had to sit myself down and say, well, you don't have any control over how people receive you. The only thing I have control over is the deliverable, right? The only thing I can do is show up on time, take care of business, do my best, and make sure that I'm listening and providing the service that I was hired to provide. And so removing what I think to be control over the end result helps with fear. It doesn't take it away, because I'm a human. And every time I get a big call that I didn't expect, or someone gives me the yes that I was hoping for, it does shake you in your boots, but it doesn't shake me away from it. It just lets me know that, good, you feel it, it's in your gut, go do your thing, and then walk away. Release it. I just read a book called Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, and it talked all about, and it's an amazing book if you haven't read it, but it talked about birthing creativity and letting it go, so you can have space and room to birth something else. And that's how I feel about it. I feel like I no longer am going to be responsible for the reception of my work. I just have to be responsible for bringing it, doing my best and taking care of people, and knowing that the clients will come because I'm putting in the work.
Oh my goodness. You just spoke life. Oh my goodness. Famira knows that I'm probably over here like ready to jump up out of the chair, because I'm telling you, because that is the absolute truth. Some things are the truth, and then some things can't be disputed. And so that's the absolute truth, is that our job really with our gifts, talents, anointings, callings, whatever skill sets, whatever it is that you do, and whatever energy it takes to do them, our job is to drop it off and keep it moving. And so I'm just like, yes. I love it, because that you have spoken absolute truth. And I live on a platform of truth. And when I hear it, I get excited. So that is like, yes, 2 thumbs up. Yes. Drop it off. Keep it moving.
Truth, right?
The reality is that perception, right? Perception is what causes people to see how we show up. And so we can't show up based on everybody's perception. You know what you're good at, do what you're good at, know that you did the absolute best. See, the only time that you have to kind of worry about it is when you haven't brought it all to the table. But when you bring it all to the table, yes, girl, that is so on point. I'm like high-fiving you in the spirit.
She said what I was going to say. Yeah, she said what I was going to say. But it worked. But yeah, I mean, it definitely is so true. I mean, there's really no discussion and no disputing around it, because you can't control anyone else. I always say I can't control anyone else's actions. I can only control my actions and how I react to the actions of others. So as long as you're doing those things, and I think that a lot of times we don't trust ourselves, especially as new entrepreneurs. I think a lot of times new entrepreneurs struggle with that. And even for those of us that have been doing it for a while, really stepping into a place of expert, or, we get nervous of those titles of like master or guru. It's like, what? I don't know. I know.
We're only nervous about it. I'm sorry to interrupt you. We're only nervous about it because we think that people don't think that we deserve it. And that's just exactly what we were saying, right? Like when you have done the work, when you are secure in the fact that you're not perfect, because no one is, but you bring it all and you do your best, it doesn't matter whether or not anybody else thinks you're an expert. And that's not boastful and that's not arrogant. It's just what it is. When you do the work and you're an expert in a thing, it doesn't matter if no one else believes it but you.
Right.
And when we're afraid of that, and I can speak from experience, when we're afraid of that, it's just because we don't want to say something that someone else doesn't believe. You know, and it's like,
that's good.
No one's doing your work. No one's doing your work.
That's good.
And you know what, too? When you feel comfortable, and like I can say that I'm a beauty expert, not because I know everything about beauty, but because I know beauty, I know women. I've worked in multiple environments within the beauty industry. And I do feel that I'm a beauty expert. I know things that I am willing to share. That's what expert means to me. And I have a platform and I have experiences where I learn something every day that some people don't have access to because everyday women aren't on sets with me. That makes me an expert. It doesn't make me cocky. It makes me an expert in beauty.
Right.
And I'm okay with that because I no longer fear that someone else doesn't believe it. I got to believe it.
Right.
You know?
Right. So true. I'm like, have you been in our inbox? I promise you, me and Marilyn be having the same conversation like all the time.
I love it.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. Now that one, look, that thing right there that you just said was, I know things and I'm willing to share it. That's what makes me an expert. Can somebody make me a meme that says that?
I got you.
Oh
my goodness. I want to make sure I'm following. I want to get it too.
Oh my goodness. That was, that's like a word for the ages because, you know, everybody has a different view and a different opinion on what makes you, you know, and I'm just going to say this and not that other cultures don't think this way, but the African-American culture is like at the top of the line for always saying, you know, who make you this or who she thinks she is. And so I think that the concept of I am this because of this. I am an expert because I know something that you don't know, and I'm willing to give it to you. Boom!
Yeah.
I love it.
You're getting us excited.
I love that.
Getting us excited.
Yes.
Yes. Chayesta is over here. She typing it. I know things that I'm willing to share. That's what makes me an expert. I'm telling you, that's like serious business right there. That statement right there was like worth the whole show.
Right. I think, you know, because a lot of people do struggle with that. You know, the reason why I'm laughing saying, have you been in me and Mary?
Chayesta says the benediction. Chayesta says the benediction.
Please, right.
That like shut it down.
Right. It's because we just had this conversation, you know, talking about it because, you know, even for me, like that was something that I struggled with for a while. I mean, up until recently, to be honest, you know, and to be transparent on this, like, but you know, it was getting to the place of saying, yeah, I'm like always reading a book. I'm always online, you know, researching my industry, you know, learning everything that I can learn about branding and being like, I do know a lot, you know, and I am that person that is willing to share and tell people and, you know, and all of that. And it's like, you know what, I am, you know, I am expert. I am a master at what I do. You know, it's not saying I'm a master at everything, but in my lane and what I do, right, like I got this, you know. And so I think that if a lot of people could get that sooner, one, it would help with that whole going back to that charge and work thing that we talked about, you know, earlier. And it would also help on the business side of things because it makes you show up different in business when you embrace that aspect.
100%. My work has never been better. My work has never been better than when I decided that the work that I do is good work. And when I went into jobs as myself. Because, you know, this is also a society and environment of comparison. And it's like, well, he's doing this and she's doing that, so I need to be somewhere in the middle. No, you don't. You need to be who you are. You need to bring you, because can't nobody bring you like you. And I was working on something with, it's called My Worth Movement. And we were just talking about the fact that my space the Danielle Lewis space only fits me. It's not one size fits all. It doesn't fit you. It doesn't fit anybody else. So I don't have to be anybody else in any other space in my life. As a wife, as a mother, as a makeup artist, as a writer, I need to be me so that I can bring me. And I think that when we get into that sweet spot and it's like, this is me and this is the work that I do, my work has never been better because I respect my work and I respect what I bring to the table, and it's me, you know? And I think that that's what we got to get, because the comparison's a thief of joy. You don't have fun anymore when you're hoping that your brow looks like the brow that he did and she did, and the brow ends up looking crazy because you're not even there. You're not present. Versus me doing a brow like I do brows, because at the end of the day, they looked at my book and hired me because of how I do what I do. So it's a disservice to not give them what they hired me for.
Exactly.
You know? After accepting that has allowed me to have fun and to just do the work.
Yes, I swear it's like, you sure you ain't been in our inbox?
Are you tricking us?
You gotta send me the email next time. We need to have a group inbox.
Because it's like, man, like this is, it's really like we're just having our normal everyday inbox conversation right now.
Yes, because we talk.
And this is such a cool platform. I love this platform. Yes. I've never been on this.
I'm glad person.
Awesome.
Yeah, I love Blab. It's a great, conversational platform in order, to have your own show and do your own thing about whatever. But because I like the fact that you're able to interact here and have the video and plus the chat going on. So it's pretty awesome. But when you talk about comparison, M.E knows that one of my favorite quotes is by one of her favorite people, Iyanla Vanzant, and she talks about, her quote says, comparison is an act of violence against the self.
Yes.
And if you really think about like how deep that statement is, because when I think of an act of violence, you think of rape, murder, you think of violent things happening. And to think that you're inflicting that level of violence on yourself by comparing yourself to someone else, it will make you stop doing it immediately.
Comparison tells us that we're not enough. At its core, it tells us that we're not enough. It tells us that I do me, she does her, but because I don't do what she does, I'm not enough. That's not, it's false. We are enough. We're plenty.
I'm more than enough. Look, I'm extra. I'm extra.
Okay, and rightfully so. And I think the comparison takes that away from us. It makes us think that because we don't do what they do, we're not enough. We are plenty. We are more than enough. Extra. Supersize. All of that.
Yes. Wow.
Exactly.
This has been so awesome. I mean, I'm looking at the clock and it's like 10 minutes to the top of the hour.
Right.
And so the funny thing is that we always schedule the show only for 30 minutes and then say, okay, we'll see how it goes.
We have not had a 30-minute show yet.
30 minutes yet. So I just want to ask you, Danielle, I want to ask you, my middle daughter, her middle name is Danielle. And her middle name is Danielle. And so I named her Danielle because I did the whole like name search thing, and I want my kids to have like these names of power and meaning. And so her name is Christina, which is indicative of Christ, but her middle name is Danielle, which is a derivative of Daniel, which translates to only God can judge me. So that is like phenomenal. So I just love the name in and of itself. So I just want to throw that out there. But my question for you is, just in case we have any business beautypreneurs in the chat room or viewing us, I just wanted to ask the question, coming into the industry, what would you say was the most profound, I don't want to use the word setback, but I have to use that word because there are only so many words in the English language. But what was like one of the things, something that really like made you kind of almost maybe rethink, is this really an industry that I want to be in? Because so many times people really do have like the gift inside of them, and they don't realize that just because you have the gift inside of you doesn't mean it's going to be smooth sailing. You know, you're still going to run into some roadblocks. So were there any roadblocks or setbacks or monumental negative things that made you question whether or not this was the industry that you wanted to be in? And what advice would you give to someone who would come up against similar adversities?
Well, yes, to answer your question, there were and probably are some on the horizon. You know, setbacks come with the territory. For me, I think the thing that really was difficult to get okay with is, number one, radio silence, right? On a job you really, really want. The idea that you can send 27 emails and not get a response. No's are also hard because no's feel like the end if, you know, based on your perspective. So for me, the biggest, not so much setbacks, but the things that made me really be like, okay, are you going to, you know, put your knuckles to the grindstone and do this, or are you going to do what else you're good at? Because this is a gift and I love it, and I wouldn't want to do anything else. But that, you know, we can all get jobs. Right. We can all live more comfortable lifestyles. It ain't cute to not work. Do you remember? I remember getting a paycheck every 2 weeks. I like that. Right. Okay. So, you know, for me, it was really, really getting my bounce back game so strong that no or that silence was temporary. And that silence turned into, that tells me you don't like email, so let me call you. And that no turned into, in 3 months, I'm just going to reach out and I'm just going to follow up. And people who know me in business will tell you that I am relentless in terms of follow up. I'm not crazy and I'm not going to stalk you, but I am consistent with follow up because that's worked for me. And so the no's are hard because a no is hard and silence is hard. But the beautiful thing that came out of those no's and out of that silence is my ability to bounce back and reach out again. And I've had the most amazing opportunities come to me because it wasn't time yet. And then when I followed up again, it was time. You know, I've had makeup opportunities that I didn't get the first time come to me and be life-changing the second go round when I was ready. So I took that as, you know, me not being ready for the opportunity or the opportunity not being mine. And instead of walking away to something that was more comfortable, like getting a job, I got scrappy and I worked 12 jobs because I think too that people think that when you freelance, you don't have a boss. I work for a lot of people. I do a lot of things. My friends will tell you, they're like, what do you doing today? What do you have going on today? Because at this point in my career, I do a lot of things to make it all work. And so I think that those setbacks just made me scrappy and just made me really, really understand that no doesn't mean no. And that following up is key and being consistent is key. And you will get results when you are consistent and when you do consistent work. And don't walk away, because literally the moment where you feel like this is it and I'm not going to do this anymore is when you get the yes you've been waiting for. And then it also gave me that you're just one yes away. I can get 5 million no's. They do not matter. I just need one yes. And so that's what I learned at the very beginning when it was bumpy. And even now when it's bumpy and I'm like, oh, I really would love to do this. I want to do that. I need to do this. I need to do that. It's just one yes away. That keeps me in the game. It keeps my head in the game. One yes. That's easy. I'll take 1,000 no's.
Right. Awesome.
Yeah, freelancing is an amazing ride. I've learned so much about myself. I have learned so much about Danielle and what I am capable of doing and what I'm capable of bouncing back from and what I'm capable of just, you know, what is it? Fall down 8, get up 9, or fall down 9, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying. Just literally, you know what I'm saying? Just, yeah, it's taught me that the end is never the end. The worst thing that could possibly happen makes you better. You know, and just like J.K. Rowling mentioned, you know, she said something on the lines of she built a strong foundation on rock bottom. You know, she went on to write the whole Harry Potter collection. So it's like, you know, it's taught me so much about myself.
Oh my goodness. Resilience. Yes. Resilient. Relentless. Be resilient. Relentless. Get scrappy. All of that. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, we have been so blessed to have you join us today. It has been a phenomenal show. I know that people are going to be like trying to get to this replay, because once the people who are here tell them like, y'all missed it, they was dropping the science on that show today. They're going to be trying to get to the replay. So how do our listeners, how do they get connected to you? How do they get connected to you?
Okay, so if you guys want to get connected, my social media is D Lewis Beauty. So D Lewis with an E, Lewis Beauty. And my inspired lifestyle platform, which is very much what we've discussed, is Coffee Shops and Laptops. And that's my social media for that as well. And Coffee Shops and Laptops is really just an inspired lifestyle platform where we share inspiration, motivation to encourage us all to live the lives that we dreamed about. And that is not so beauty focused, but it's focused in the idea of business across the industries. And that's where I muse about everything that has kept me going and write about business and beauty and, about business and, you know, hanging in there, being a freelancer and what it feels like and what, you know, an honest conversation about it. So D Lewis Beauty for beauty, and then Coffee Shops and Laptops, all spelled out, for motivation and keeping your head in the game.
Awesome. Yeah, that was my favorite. I loved the Coffee Shops and Laptops. I was like, oh, I love it. So I will definitely be following that from this day forward. I love it. I think it's phenomenal. So on behalf of myself, M.E. Porter, one half of the Business Besties, and Miss Famira, the Diamond Diva Green, the other half of the Business Besties, we want to thank you so much just for honoring us with your presence and for not thinking it a waste of your time to come and share with us today. So thank you. And to our listeners and to everybody in the chat room, we appreciate you guys. We love you the absolute most. And we will be here next week, same time, same place, doing some business blabbing. That's us, the Besties. See you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you guys.
Bye.
Thank you so much.